Michael Sukkar, thanks for your time. So this announcement today, mandatory roll guards, minimum stability standards, better warning labels, is this going to make a real difference? We know 16 people die a year because of quad bikes in Australia.
Yeah, Tom, look, the announcement today from the government that we're accepting the recommendations of the ACCC to most notably ensure that within 2 years new or imported quad bikes have some form of rollover protection will make a significant impact on injuries and deaths associated with quad bike accidents, but most particularly rollovers. These are extremely popular devices on farms and for recreational purposes, and we've seen certainly that for unregulated products that the fatality rate for quad bikes is the highest. There's been a 2-year process undertaken by the ACCC ensuring that they were speaking to all appropriate stakeholders, including manufacturers of quad bikes, in formulating the final position. I've accepted that final position by the ACCC, which will ensure that these changes make these products, which are pretty vital for many Australians around our country, are a little bit safer.
So this doesn't apply to existing quad bikes and won't apply to new ones for 24 months. Does that, what is the reason for that, first of all?
Well, Tom, there are about 250,000 quad bikes at present in the market. Under the law, we're able to make prospective changes to product safety laws, so this will necessarily be a prospective change that ensures that after 2 years, all new or imported quad bikes are required to meet the minimum requirements, including lateral stability and most notably rollover protection. The reason for 2 years is that in order for manufacturers to integrate roll bars into the design of their particular quad bikes, that necessarily requires a lot of engineering work from their perspective to ensure that that roll bar requirement is integrated into the design of their quad bikes. And as you would appreciate, and I'm sure your viewers would appreciate, Tom, that is unable to be done overnight. So we have provided a period, or accepted the ACCC's recommendation that a period of time be required before, or be provided before the requirement takes effect.
Obviously, farmers aren't in the habit of, throwing out perfectly good machinery, and not many in drought-affected parts of Australia would just be buying new equipment. So is that a concern? You'll have hundreds of thousands of older quad bikes without those roll guards out there and quite possibly causing deaths.
Well, we're going to encourage the states that are already providing rebates for people who retrofit their quad bikes with rollover protection to continue that, and for those jurisdictions that don't currently have those rebates, that they do so. I'm also going to be writing to state and territory ministers on a range of additional changes that will complement this decision that I've made today, and there's some areas that are well within the responsibility of state governments, and I'll be asking that they make some of those changes, including that they require helmets be worn on quad bikes, that on single-seat quad bikes you're prohibited from having a passenger, and also that children are prohibited from riding adult quad bikes. So the reality is, Tom, there's no silver bullet solution to these safety issues. Between this decision today, which will ensure rollover protections on new bikes, the existing rebate schemes that some states have in place, and these additional changes that I'll be requesting state and territory ministers progress, we're hopeful that it will make an appreciable impact on the fatalities and the injuries associated with accidents on these sorts of products.
So the subsidies you spoke about, some states are giving subsidies to retrofit existing bikes. Is there a role here at all for the federal government, either cajoling the states or offering your own subsidy to make sure anyone in Australia now that wants to fit one of these isn't stopped by the cost?
Well, Tom, as I said, there are some states who don't need me to cajole them into doing it. They've been on the front foot in ensuring that they are providing generous rebates to encourage people to fit rollover protection on their quad bikes. We will be asking those states and territories that don't currently have a scheme like that, to consider it and to obviously ensure that for, as you say, those Australians who would like to do so, that the cost is less prohibitive. In the end, though, Tom, what I'm focused on delivering today is that in 2 years' time, anybody purchasing a new quad bike will have this integrated or otherwise built into the design of the quad bike when they leave the showroom or the dealership or wherever they may buy it from. So it will be there. They won't need to think about retrofitting it because it will already be a feature on the quad bike that they purchase, and that's the key decision that I've accepted today from the ACCC.
All right, we'll see what the other states do. Perhaps there'll be laggards that are called out in the future. I just wanted to turn finally to the economy, Michael Sukkar, and what the RBA has been talking about lately, the prospect of quantitative easing for the layman, printing money. What's your thought? Do you think the economy is going badly enough to warrant serious consideration of QE?
Well, Tom, look, we believe that the fundamentals of the Australian economy are sound and strong. We've had 28 years of uninterrupted economic growth. We are seeing an economy that has some areas of strength, certainly, and some areas that we would like to see improved. Quantitative easing is a relatively unconventional measure. I think is probably not a controversial thing for me to say, but in the end, monetary policy and all things related to it, Tom, within the province independently of the Reserve Bank, and decisions on interest rates and any of those sorts of unconventional measures are ultimately decisions for the RBA. But I think it's not controversial to say that quantitative easing is a pretty unconventional measure.
Yeah, it is. It's a drastic move. And given what you said in the first half of your answer about where you see the economy sitting, QE, from your point of view, not to instruct the Reserve Bank what to do, but you wouldn't think right now the economy is in need of quantitative easing?
Well, Tom, as I said, we think that the fundamentals of the economy are sound, that certainly there are areas that we are ensuring through our budget and through our infrastructure agenda, $100 billion, significant personal income tax relief, areas of the economy that we are working hard to ensure strengthen. And as I said, 28 years of uninterrupted economic growth, a AAA credit rating. I, again, don't think I'm painting too rosy a picture when I say that to most lay observers you would say that is an economy that is sound and is fundamentally strong.
And so if the RBA were really entertaining this, would you hope that there would be pretty close consultation with the government about why they think that is the case and at least an opportunity to discuss whether it's needed?
Tom, as I said, we don't mandate what the RBA says or does. In the end, monetary policy was quite rightly placed with the RBA independently. Again, all I would say is that quantitative easing is a very unconventional measure, and I haven't seen all of the comments in relation to it, but we believe that the strength of the Australian economy, based on all the things I spoke about earlier, will hold us in good stead into the future.
Michael Sukkar, appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much, Tom.